Hey whimsically musical teachers, it's March, which means that it's time to start celebrating Music in Our Schools Month, which takes place all of the month of March. And so if you've never heard of what that is before, then you definitely need to stay tuned because it is very important that all of us music teachers come together at this time to support music in our schools. For those who don't know me, my name's Franny Barton. I teach elementary music and middle school musical theater in Central Florida. It's my 8th year teaching, and I made this channel to help other music teachers inspire a love and appreciation of music into the heart of every child. And we do that through lesson plans, tips, strategies, ideas, activities, all the things. And so if you want a bunch of activities delivered to your YouTube every Monday, then please like and subscribe down below. It really does help my channel grow. As I mentioned in today's video, we're going to be talking about different activities that I have used over the years to celebrate Music in Our Schools Month in my classroom. And if you don't know what Music in Our Schools Month is, it is NAFMA's, so the National Association for Music Education. It's their annual celebration, I'm looking at my notes, that takes place in March that engages both music educators, students, and communities from around the country in promoting the benefits of high-quality music education programs in our schools. So it's basically a way for us to advocate for ourselves because a lot of schools still don't take seriously how important music and the arts is inside of a school. And so I think that it's really important that we are doing our best to advocate them on the matter. And so that is why we are going to be talking today about how you could start doing stuff to prepare your admin and your parents and everyone, and explain why music is so important. Now, there are many music teachers or counties that actually offer special performances, lessons, sing-alongs, and other activities throughout the month of March. For many, that's a way to get their programs noticed by their administrators, by parents, their colleagues, and the communities in order to display the positive benefits that music brings to students of all ages, because there are tons of reasons why music is important to kids of all ages. My old school's county actually always hosted in March, at the end of March, a Charlie Dixon concert where basically each elementary school, which we had 23 elementary schools in the entire county, they would pair with one to two other elementary schools, and we would perform a song. One time we did this song, I think it was called The Rain She Has a Silver Broom, and there was an oboe solo in it, so I actually got to play the oboe part, and then we had piano accompaniment, and the students sang the song, and there was instruments and movement and all of that. And so all of the elementary schools would join together for that one night, and they would do the piece that they practiced with their 1 to 2 other schools, and then they would do 2 to 3 songs all together as a whole at the end, where it's like hundreds of students singing all at once in this really giant church. And it was a beautiful event. And of course we had people talking about like why it's important to keep this in the schools, and like how you need to vote for this tax referendum that like helps keep music and arts in school, which the fact that they're having to vote to pay to support us is ridiculous, but it is what it is. And so that's what my county would always do. And if you're watching this video and you're like, girl, I don't have time to put together a concert right now, it's something to think about for next year. If you already have a spring concert that you do every year, maybe putting it in March so that you can actually talk about it's Music in Our Schools Month. But that is what my county would always do. Now, as far as the activities I'm going to share with you right now go, most of these are not specifically music activities like you're going to go into your classroom, you're going to do this game, you're going to do this song, because everything we do in our class is already musical. Some are just musical advocacy points. So some you might not be able to do until next year with preparation, like I said, but I wanted to share it so that you're able to be aware, you're able to promote it in your schools. And all of the people that I got amazing ideas from, I will link underneath this video description. You know I love sharing the credit where credit is due with all these other amazing music educators. So with that being said, I'm just going to go through a couple of different ways that you could utilize March Music in Our Month schools in your classroom, and then also throughout the greater community. So this first one is called Name That Tune / Music Suggestion, and I'm pretty sure I got this from Elizabeth Caldwell from a blog that she put on the NAFMA Music in Our Schools website, so I'll link to that blog post underneath here. But you could have a different piece of music playing every time your students walk into the classroom for the month of March, just so they're getting exposed to different types of music. A good way to incorporate this to make sure your students actually like the music you're playing is have a music suggestion box that, like, at the end of February, you give your students 5 minutes to write down songs that they would like to listen to. Must be appropriate. And then they can put them into the music suggestions box on their way out. And then at the beginning of every day, you pick a song, you grab it out of the box, you check it to make sure it's appropriate, because I know those kids aren't going to be checking them themselves. And then every class for that day gets to walk into that, and they can be like, oh, name that tune. Do you know this song? Talk a little bit about it. And then you're getting to have musical chat with your students on music that they like because they were the ones that selected it. So that's always a super fun way to do that in your classroom, and it's pretty easy and straightforward to do. You could do a talent show in March to promote music with your students. You could even have a talent section. I actually didn't even plan this, but 2 weeks ago, one of my students asked if they could bring in their piano book and show the class what they've been learning in their music class, and I said sure, and so they did, and they performed 2 songs for us, and it was actually really great. And I had another student say, can I bring my piano books in? And then one of them said, can I bring my ukulele in? And so I thought, wouldn't this be a great time if I did that even in March in my classroom, where in March, if you have a talent that you want to share and you've been taking lessons for it or whatever, because I'm not just going to let any student that thinks they can do whatever they want come in, then I will designate 5 minutes at the end of class for like different students to highlight their artistry, and I think that could be a really, really cool idea. So you could do it that way, or you could just have a full-out talent show that you do at the end of March where, you know, you have to have some sort of musical talent. Of course, that would require prep work, and so obviously I'm not saying go do that right now, but that's something you could think about for the future. You could also, of course, do journal prompts like, how has music changed your life for the better? What do you love about music? What has music done for you? And students could respond to that, journal it out, and you could make a bulletin board collage because that's really great to let people see what they're actually learning. And I actually have a music bulletin board that I've created that I'll link under this video, and it basically says music makes the world go round, and it's like very like country cultures all around the world themed, and it has tons of musical statements like music makes me feel safe, music gives me joy, music makes my heart sing, all this different stuff. And then I had a journal prompt that I gave to my students that said, how does music make you feel? And they could fill that out. And then I would, as I put up the bulletin board, I would put up their responses, and I made sure to incorporate from like different grade levels from kindergarten all the way up to 5th grade. And I put it on a bulletin board right outside my classroom so that for the whole month of March, as teachers and students are walking by, they're getting to read these and they're getting to be like, wow, like these students have like such in-depth thoughts about how music makes them feel, and it's actually like a really cool inspirational moment. So I definitely think having your students reflecting on how music is making them feel, and whether you put it on a bulletin board or not, or whether you just have them share it aloud in class, I think could be really helpful to helping them even further understand why music is so important in schools. Then you could also just do music listening journals, which I got this 100% from Lindsay Jervis, so I will link to hers underneath. But she has listening journals where they basically come in, they're listening to a song, they answer a couple of questions like who it's by, what genre it is, and then they kind of reflect on it, like do they like the song, do they not, what do they like about it, what do they not like about it, how does it make them feel, what does it make them think of, what comes to mind. And they just kind of get to journal and process for like 5 minutes, and then you talk through it, and then the next class they do a different song. But like doing that in March will also get them used to like listening to music and taking all the musical concepts that they've been learning over the years, like tempo and dynamics and just like texture and all this stuff, and incorporating it. So I would probably use the music listening journals for 3 through 5, not really for the younger babies, but that could be something really easy that you could do to get them listening to different types of music in your classroom in the month of March. And then the last 2 that I have, this one I saw, I'm pretty sure this was in the Elizabeth Caldwell blog post as well, so I'll definitely link it down below. But this one was having a fun musical facts about staff members bulletin board, where you basically email the staff and say, if you have done anything musical in your life, you've auditioned for a play, you've learned an instrument, you've done XYZ, you've gone to a concert, whatever you've done, can you email it back to me? And then I'm going to type it all up and be like, I did XYZ. Who am I? And then you could either have it as a bulletin board in the hall where the students can look at it, or you could do it as a name that staff member in your classroom where it's like a PowerPoint slide presentation, and it'll say like, I went to a Fleetwood Mac concert in 1969. I learned how to play the ukulele when I was in school. I actually auditioned for the role of Annie in a Broadway musical when I was 12. Like, whatever it's going to be. And then they get to guess, and then you show the teacher's picture. So if you actually have them email a picture of them as well when they give me this. But that's really fun. And then they can go, wow, I didn't know that staff member did music too. Because it'll be actually surprising to you how many staff members on your school probably do something musical that you had no idea about. So that's really awesome. So I definitely think that's fun. I'm doing that this year with my students, and I think it is going to be a blast. And then the last one that I would mention is just if you are working on a spring concert, even if it's not in March this year, mine actually is in April. It's like April 5th, but it's pretty close to March. You could just make sure you're promoting Music in Our School Month. I'm pretty sure they actually have videos that you could be playing at the beginning of your concerts to inform parents on why it is so important. You could be putting something in your programs that explains why, like with a little QR code to give them more information on it. Or if you can't make that work, you could even invite your parents to come into your in-class rehearsal so they can see the process of them taking it from a piece of like music or whatever to like it being on the stage. And it allows the parents to realize like, oh wow, like there's a lot of preparation that goes into this. So it's kind of like an informant. But once again, that's if your school allows it and if you feel comfortable with having parents come into your classroom. You could have specific times where it's like these 2 dates are the only dates available, and like it's only available for 20 people. Like once the first 20 people sign up, no one else can come. And then you kind of change the way you do your lessons for that day, being like, and now we're rehearsing this, and so this is our rehearsal process for this, and then work on it with the students. And then that way it gives them a little more insight. My school, actually, one of my schools, friends' schools did it, and it was really, really awesome. I ended up going to their informants because I wanted to see how they did it, and it was really cool. And it made me realize, like, wow, these kids are learning a lot of stuff, and they are doing it, like, all on their own. Like, the teacher is guiding them, but all the hard work is them. And it was really, really cool to see. So anytime that you can highlight what your students are doing and all the behind the scenes work that it takes to get them to the concert stage is like really, really great. So those are all the ideas that I have with you on how you can incorporate Music in Our Schools Month into your classroom. Like I said, obviously some of these require a lot more prep than others. Some of these are really simple that you could do as easy as tomorrow. But the whole goal is to make people realize how awesome you are as a music teacher, because you are awesome. We are all awesome. Music teachers have the best jobs. They get to inspire kids all over the world with appreciating and loving music. What could be better than that, quite honestly? So make sure that you are promoting the heck out of yourself, especially when you have an entire month to do so. I bet you your admin doesn't even know that that is a thing. You should let them know March is Music in Our Schools Month, and then they can promote you too. Because I actually plan on doing that after this video. And the air conditioner just kicked on, so sorry, you're going to have to deal with that for the end of this video. But like I said, I'm going to link to all of the amazing educators and the ideas that I pulled from there. I'll link to some NAFMA resources you can have in order to promote and understand how to explain this to your students and your school better. And then I will also link to my bulletin board down below that I already have prepped for you for Music in Our Schools Month with a journal response and everything. So I hope that this is helpful. I hope that you go promote the crap out of yourself because you are awesome and you should do so. And with that, I'll see you guys in next week's video. Bye.